Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. For those of you new here, my name's Tom. I'm a photographer based out of New Jersey. Today we're going to be talking about 5 tips that I've used to help improve my photography that are outside of the box. Don't forget to stick around until the end to make sure you get all 5 tips. And as always, like, follow and subscribe. It helps improve the channel and I greatly appreciate it. So tip number 1, Substack and writing. I've really found that using an additional creative process alongside my photography has helped improve it. And I've chosen writing and I've started to fold in video content by using YouTube. What this has helped me do is go out with an intent or purpose often, as opposed to just meandering, which I don't think is a bad thing, but it does help if you go out with an intent and purpose to shoot. And when I've held myself accountable to either having to write a Substack article or create a YouTube video, I make sure I go out and it makes my photography more targeted. It gets me out, it gets me shooting, and it also makes me think about my work a little bit deeper and how to add and create story within the images that I take. And so I've stopped taking less individual photos and started creating narratives and stories around the images I create. Writing has really helped me think about my work on a deeper level, and I've used communities like the Raw Society and Substack to help me improve in this area and create more cohesion between the work I think I want to create and the work that I'm actually creating. So I would advise, if you're doing anything else or with your photography, try writing alongside it. I found it gives you a little extra sense of purpose and helps motivate you to get out and do some more photography. It shouldn't be a surprise to anybody that the world is now awash with images. We're flooded with images on social media like Instagram, Twitter, Substack, YouTube, and countless others. And many photographers will tell you a great place to start looking and learning about composition and light is to look at other photographers' work. And I think that's a really good place to go. But tip number 2 for me is to look beyond photography. Look at painters and sculptors. I've learned so much about light by just going to museums and looking at some of these other works of art and how the artists and creatives have managed to put them together. It's really taught me so much about composition, framing and lighting that I would tell you, if you can go to a museum and spend an afternoon just looking at sculpture and painting and drawing, it will do so much for your photography. And you also have the added benefit, if there is a photography exposition there, you get to see the artist's work as it's intended, which is printed and up on the wall. There is nothing like seeing real photography imprint on the wall to help improve your own. Photo books are a fantastic start, but don't limit yourself. Make sure that you try and get out and look at other types of art to improve how you conduct your photography. Tip number 3, I think we all have our favored niches of photography. Some of us like to go and do landscape work. Some of us like street photography. Others like portraiture. And I think one of the most important things you can do as a new photographer is to shoot everything and anything, especially when it comes to producing work that's outside of your comfort zone. So for example, I am not comfortable creating portraiture, but one of the things that I've done is volunteer at a local church to help create portraits for a student arts program that they have there, whereby I do all of the headshots for the children who are actors. This has got me way more comfortable in understanding portraiture. It's got me comfortable engaging with people from behind the camera and has deepened my understanding of light and composition. And I think if you do something that is outside of your comfort zone, you can really learn valuable tools that you can translate to your other preferred interest of the medium. And you might even find something that you were scared of or afraid to do is actually what your calling is. And so I would challenge you to, when presented with an opportunity to do something that makes you slightly uncomfortable, step out of that comfort zone, get in there and attempt to try and do the best work you can and learn something. This is a learning process. Every day we're learning. Photography is no different, and I think that by stepping outside of your comfort zone, you can do yourself a huge favor and progress your skill set as quickly as possible. One of the things that I found myself getting wrapped up in early in photography was establishing a style or a focus. And this kind of goes back to the last tip, whereby if you do this, you're going to limit yourself. I would tell you that when you start out, don't worry about determining what your style or your focus is. Your why is probably more important than this. So you want to ask yourself, why am I doing this and what am I trying to do with the camera? If you answer that and then you go out with intent and purpose to shoot, and you don't limit yourself by just shooting one or two different subject matters, eventually your work will tell you what your focus and your style is. So it's about producing as much work and getting in the reps as early as possible and as quickly and frequently as possible. And then once you've had the opportunity to produce a large body of work, you can go back, look at it, and that's going to tell you a story. And so to give you an example, when I was spending about 2.5 years shooting street photography in New York City, I had a massive collection of photos and I wasn't really sure what I was going to do to them. And at some point in time, I started going back through that work, I found a theme, and then I created a zine from that work. So don't limit yourself by trying to start off with a focus or a style. Let your work and your activities tell you what that is after the fact, and you'll learn along the way. And I think because of your ability to shoot a wider subject matter and a wider range of things, you'll learn your style quicker, and then you can apply it to other areas of your photography. Okay folks, before we get to tip number 5, I want to take a moment again to thank you for sticking with me so far. I really appreciate you watching up to this point. And again, don't forget to like, follow and subscribe before the end of this video. I'll be dropping bi-weekly videos to start, and hopefully in 2026 I will have geared up so I'll be doing weekly YouTube videos. So tip number 5, edit and work with other photographers' work. We've talked about looking at photo books. We've talked about going back and looking at the work of other mediums in museums like drawing, painting, and sculpture. One of the things that I have found most helpful is to take a body of work from other photographers and look at it and try and compile something out of it. Right now, I'm in the early stages of working with a group project through the Raw Society, which is a fantastic community out there to help put photographers together who enjoy documentary journalism, street, travel, all different types and genres of photography. One of the things this community does twice a year is create a members photo book. And the membership, or one of the members, is tasked with editing this body of work and putting it together in the form of the book. And I was chosen this time to do so. When you take over 50 different photographers and you try to make a narrative body of work that says something through all of these different styles, not only do you learn a lot about their work, but you learn so much more about your style and focus and the direction that you might want to take your work. So if you have the opportunity to work with a group of photographers on a collaborative project like a zine or a book, I highly recommend it as a way to get more comfortable with your own work, get more comfortable with the editing process of culling and selecting images, and then finally using those images to tell a story that you have in mind. So again, thanks for sticking around guys. I hope you've enjoyed those 5 tips, and I think you can really get something out of them.